Springing Forward, Navigating the Health Impacts of Daylight Saving Time. Introduction. Every year, as winter begins to wane, most of us are asked to perform a simple task that can have not-so-simple effects, adjusting our clocks forward 1 hour for daylight saving time, DST. While this change might seem trivial, especially for those who enjoy longer daylight hours in the evening, the shift can have measurable and sometimes serious impacts on our physical and mental health. Far from being just an inconvenience, springing forward can disturb our body's circadian rhythms, contribute to sleep deprivation, and even elevate the risk of heart attacks and other serious conditions. As DST approaches each March, the primary concern for many is the loss of 1 precious hour of sleep. However, the effects of this single hour ripple out into several facets of health and well-being. Modern research suggests that even minimal disruptions in sleep and circadian timing can lead to increased rates of car accidents, workplace injuries, mental distress, and cardiovascular incidents. This episode explores how DST affects our internal clocks, examines the biological and neurological consequences of time shifts, and offers science-backed strategies to help your body adapt more gracefully. Understanding circadian rhythms and their vulnerability. Our bodies are governed by a finely tuned biological clock known as the circadian rhythm, which regulates nearly every system in the body, from sleep and wakefulness to hormone release, digestion, and temperature regulation. This rhythm synchronizes to environmental cues such as sunlight and darkness. Even a 1-hour shift, like that imposed by DST, can throw this rhythm out of balance. Numerous studies, including those published in Current Biology and the New England Journal of Medicine, confirm that the spring DST change disrupts the synchronization between our biological clock and our external environment. For some people, particularly shift workers, those with underlying sleep disorders, or older adults, this disruption can take days or even weeks to resolve. Heart health, a hidden danger. One of the most concerning consequences of DST is its impact on cardiovascular health. According to a 2014 study published in Open Heart, the Monday following the spring DST change is associated with a 24% increase in the incidence of heart attacks. Researchers suggest that this increase is likely due to sleep deprivation, heightened stress levels, and an abrupt shift in hormonal rhythms that affect heart function. Likewise, a 2016 meta-analysis in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found consistent evidence of a spike in strokes and irregular heart rhythms in the days following the clock change. While these spikes typically subside within a week, they underscore the fragility of our cardiovascular system in response to even minor sleep disturbances. Increased risk of accidents and injuries. It isn't just internal health that suffers. A lack of sufficient sleep affects reaction time, concentration, and decision-making, factors critical to safety in everyday tasks. Studies have shown a measurable increase in traffic accidents immediately following the spring transition. In fact, one analysis published in Sleep Medicine found a 6% rise in fatal car crashes during the week after DST begins. Workplace accidents also increase, particularly in industries where alertness is paramount. A study from the Journal of Applied Psychology noted a marked rise in on-the-job injuries and lost workdays the Monday after DST begins, attributing the surge to sleep loss and circadian misalignment. Mental and emotional toll. Sleep is essential for emotional regulation. Even partial sleep deprivation can exacerbate mood disorders, increase irritability, and reduce our capacity to cope with stress. For individuals already struggling with anxiety or depression, the DST transition can serve as a trigger, intensifying symptoms and even contributing to seasonal affective disorder, SAD, in some cases. The reduction in early morning light exposure may also play a role. Early daylight is particularly important for synchronizing circadian rhythms and maintaining stable melatonin and cortisol levels. Reduced morning light exposure can delay melatonin offset, leading to grogginess and poor alertness during the day. Sleep architecture and hormonal imbalance. Beyond simply losing an hour of sleep, DST can affect the quality of sleep itself. Many people report more fragmented, shallow, or restless sleep in the days following the time change. This may be due to misaligned sleep stages, particularly REM, rapid eye movement sleep, which plays a critical role in cognitive processing and memory consolidation. Hormonal regulation is also impacted. Cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, follows a daily cycle that is closely linked to light exposure and wake time. When this rhythm is thrown off, people may experience elevated evening cortisol levels, which can interfere with falling asleep and increase nighttime awakenings. Children and older adults at greater risk. Certain groups are more sensitive to DST transitions than others. Children whose sleep requirements are higher and whose routines are tightly structured often exhibit mood swings, irritability, and attention issues after the time change. Older adults may find it harder to adapt due to slower metabolic flexibility and increased susceptibility to sleep fragmentation. Research in the Journal of Biological Rhythms shows that older adults take up to 5 days longer to adjust to DST changes compared to younger adults. Those with pre-existing conditions like insomnia, diabetes, or hypertension may notice exacerbations in their symptoms during this adjustment period. Practical strategies to ease the transition. To minimize the disruptive effects of DST on your health, consider adopting some of these evidence-based strategies. Adjust your sleep schedule gradually. Start moving your bedtime earlier by 15 minutes each night a few days before DST begins. This can help your body transition more gently and avoid a sudden 1-hour jump. Prioritize morning sunlight. Sunlight exposure in the early hours of the day helps anchor your biological clock. Step outside for at least 15 to 30 minutes each morning, ideally within an hour of waking. Limit evening light exposure. Reduce screen time and exposure to bright artificial lighting in the evening. Blue light blocking glasses can be helpful when using electronic devices after sunset. Avoid stimulants late in the day. Caffeine, nicotine, and even intense evening workouts can delay the onset of sleep. Try to limit stimulating activities and substances after 3 p.m. Stay consistent with your routine. Keep your sleep-wake schedule as regular as possible, even on weekends, to reinforce circadian alignment. Support sleep with nutrition. Avoid heavy meals before bed. Consider foods that promote sleep, like magnesium-rich leafy greens or a small serving of tart cherry juice, which contains natural melatonin. Conclusion. The shift to daylight saving time each spring is more than just a temporal inconvenience. It has real physiological, psychological, and social effects that deserve attention. While the public debate continues over whether we should keep or eliminate DST, individuals can take proactive steps to minimize its adverse effects. Awareness, preparation, and consistent habits can go a long way in helping the body and mind maintain equilibrium during this seasonal adjustment.